Next, we will show you how to install the motors onto the drone frame itself. So all the parts are very small, so just be mindful of that. Here are the screws, really, really small. And then here are the 4 motors. You can take them out of the packaging however you want. And place them on your stand for working. And to keep the screws so we don't lose them, you can open it up and just place your screws right here as a little tray for us so we don't lose them. Hopefully you have a magnetized screwdriver so that the screws stick to the magnet, which will help you when you're installing them. So what you want to do is first find the front of the drone, which is indicated by this arrow on the frame. You notice in the back and the sides it's not there, so this is forward. When you're going to put these on here, it's going to be quite hard because everything's so small, so place them in there, kind of eyeball it up. And then what I normally do is work on it upside down. So place your wire through, and then we'll put the motor like that. So I'm going to set it down first, grab a screw, and I'm only going to put 1 screw in first, and then I'll put the rest in. So use your magnetized screwdriver, place the screw in place. You can set that down and get ready to screw this in. So line up the holes as best you can and put the first screw in. And try and line up the tiny hole as best you can. It might take a couple tries, but we have it attached there perfectly. So when you're tightening the screw, be very gentle. You don't have to tighten it very hard at first. Just make sure you get the other 4 or other 2 screws in, and then you can tighten everything up. If you notice there, I grabbed this wire to move the base to line up those 2 extra holes. So the next screws will go in pretty easy. Okay, again, just line it up. It might be easier to put it on the table, and once you have the screw started, to screw them in. Just depends on how steady your hands are. So now I have all 3 in, and I'm tightening just barely. I'm barely putting any force on my screwdriver just to get it tight. So that's 1 motor installed, and now we'll do the rest of the other 3. Let's try a different way. Let's put the screw in first, like that. Put my finger on there, and now you'll see that the screw is sticking through. This might be an easier way for some. So let's make sure that we're putting the right motor on. Diagonally, we want to put another black motor. So again, it's really hard to line these up. If you have a friend to help you, you can certainly do that. Otherwise, just take your time in lining everything up. Again, barely tighten this one. I just screwed in just enough to get it tight so it holds the screw. Actually, it's a little too tight. There we go. And I line the 2 screw holes up again, and I'll grab my extra screws. All right, so we have both those in. So now we'll just do 2 reds across. Again, here's the front of our motor. We have a black and black, and we'll have red and red. All right, line that one up. Do the same thing, and you can see I missed, so I'm almost going sideways and checking to make sure that it hits. I find this the easiest, actually, now that we're doing it. Those two holes are lined up as well. And you can see that the wires, we want to make sure that the wires are coming either from this side or here. You don't want the wires on the outside edge because we won't have enough distance. Maybe what we'll do to keep everything consistent is put the wires on this inside bracket. So I'm going to move this one to over here later, and I'll put this last one right here. So we'll show you right at the end how I'll adjust this one to put the wire there. You know, if your hands shake a lot, put your hand on the table and guide it in. It might be a little bit easier. Sometimes my hands shake and it's a little bit hard. Okay, so the last one we'll put right here. And we'll line up to make sure that the wires come through here again. All right, so the wires are running to the inside. We're going to adjust this one to match, like I said. We'll finish putting the two screws in, and then we'll do that last one.
All right, how'd we do? Oh.
We're coming along nicely. So we have to loosen this up just a little bit to make the adjustment for the holes. Push on the red wires a little bit just to line it up better. There we go there. One last screw. Looks like we only have one spare screw, so make sure that you guys don't lose these screws. Try to be careful, use the tray there to keep them all in one spot. And again, I'm barely tightening these because we can come back before we fly and just check all the tightnesses. Okay, so the last one, like I had said here, we want all the wires to point inward to the frame. And it looks like we've made a mistake on this one. So we're going to adjust that. All we'll do is take this out. So back the screws out. And be careful not to lose them. All right, so we have one screw in there. So this one, make sure I line it up right the first time. There we go.
We will be in touch with you, so let you see what happens, so you can give your permission if you like or don't like it.
Sounds good.
Okay.
And the last two screws go in. All right. All of our motors are connected. Again, here's our front direction. So we have black diagonal, red diagonal, and all the wires are running towards the middle of the frame. That's how you install your motors.